people just see it works and then, hey, let me try. Maybe they're going to do a biblical golf offer. I don't know.
I'm actually just curious about, why you entered the Christian niche specifically. What was it that attracted you to that? And like, what's different about the Christian niche in general?
That's a good question. So I think nothing really attracted me to it. I think really I just kind of fell into it because I wrote that offer, the Shepherd's Diet, which wasn't the idea wasn't mine, hey, and it, probably it wasn't even the offer owners because, Christian diet offers have been around. I think the Maker's Diet was it Jordan Rubin back in the 90s? I know there probably was one back in the 80s. So it's been around for a while. There's nothing unique about it. The way that I executed on it was unique. And that's what ultimately made it, successful. So, I just kind of fell into it by doing that offer. And, I grew up in a Christian home, like in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it's like right smack in the Bible Belt. So I grew up like going to church, 3 times a week, Sunday morning, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights. So like I spent a lot of time around pastors and heard, thousands of sermons over the course of my, early life. So I think that put me, I understood the psychology, my parent, because a lot of time the demographic is my family, my parents, especially. Okay. So anytime, and especially they're kind of like my secret weapon. Anytime I have a challenge, I'm like, I'm going to go talk to mom and dad and see what they have to say. And it's just like a shortcut. It's like a game genie for copy and like different beliefs. So, that probably has helped me perform, and then just having the success of doing that and said, well, why not? And I've done other offers and other niches that aren't Christian that have done, decently well. But it's just, I think that that's why we've done it. I think that answers that part of the question. Now, what's different about that market, right? Yeah. That's the part you want to know as well, right?
Yeah. Because I have been seeing, and again, maybe it's because I'm talking to Julian, and sometimes when you like when I wanted to buy a white car, I just kept seeing white cars everywhere. So it's kind of the same thing. I'm like, is it because I'm noticing it more, or is it just becoming a trend now that I'm seeing a lot more like offers geared towards Christians?
So there's a couple ways to look at it. I think it's just, there's a really good book, copy/marketing book by Eugene Schwartz called Breakthrough Advertising. I'm sure you've heard of it. Mm-hmm. And there's a part of the book where he talks about like the different stages of awareness in a market, right? I don't know if I remember all the stages, but I think the final stage is, gosh, I know if any copywriters are going to be watching this, they're going to call me out if I get it wrong, but I think it's identification. Like they identify with the person who is selling a product, right? Because you have the first stage is just like making a promise. Like, hey, an example of that would be, lose 25 pounds. And so when that type of marketing message gets perpetuated in the market savvies up and goes, well, I've heard that before. Like lose 25 pounds. Everyone says that, right? Yeah. So it might be like, then in the next level, there might be like micro levels in between these stages, right? Like lose 25.7 pounds or whatever, lose 100 pounds. and then it becomes like unbelievable. If it's unbelievable, people won't buy it, right? So if you've gone to the limits of believability on that first stage, I can't remember what it is, but it's something to do with making promises, then you've got to go to the next stage, which is like, okay, so how can we make this more unique? And then they say, okay, well, let's add a mechanism, something that's different, right? So it's all about the unique mechanism or the unique way in which this product solves a problem. So lose 25 pounds by eating Garcinia cambogia or whatever it's called, right? Yeah. There's the unique mechanism. And then there's maybe more authority, like, hey, doctor reveals secret fruit for losing whatever. So there's different stages. And then I think, you get the picture. So there's this evolution of awareness and people the market savvies up, and you've got to try different strategies of giving your product or offer the perception of being something new, unique, and revolutionary. So I think the Christian thing is just a byproduct of that. It's like the identification part. It's like, well, we're going to show you how to do this, but we're going to do it in a way that's biblically relevant or biblically sound or whatever. Does that make sense? It's just so that's one way of looking at it, of why you might see more offers like that.
Do you think
the
it's
other
become more popular, or it's always been there? We just haven't noticed it as much.
I think it's become more popular because it definitely in the age of digital marketing, there's a lot of like, hey, they're doing that, let's do it too, right? Like people have tried to rip us. So I mean, it's a free market. Everyone can do whatever they want, but I think people just see it works and then, hey, let me try. Maybe they're going to do a biblical, I don't know, like a biblical golf offer. I don't know. So I think people see it working. They just try it, and it may work, it may not. I think another thing that's okay. So I do have context around like how the customers are different, right? Because that's interesting. Because this is something that was actually surprising for me to hear. It's not surprising after, like it is surprising because sure, I'll tell you what it is. So like, on the customer service side, I was talking to an actual, someone we brought in to help evaluate our customer service and listen to phone calls. And so he listened to hundreds of calls, and he said, and he's seen a lot of different companies. Like, look, this market with Christians, for whatever reason, they're very nice people, right? Like, so they're very easy to deal with in terms of refunds, chargebacks. Whereas we had another business, like the ED side, and it was just like, it wasn't Christian. So it was just very
people were more aggressive,
hostile. Yeah, more aggressive. So, maybe it's a man versus, men and women thing, or maybe it is a Christian thing where he thought like a lot of these people are salt of the earth. Like, people who really want to do, they really do believe in the golden rule, doing to others as you would want them to do unto you. So I think that has helped the economics of the business because they've been so easy to work with on the back end with refunds and chargebacks. So it helps helps everything, helps the bottom line. Oh. So that's something that's interesting that I've learned.
Do you find, Andrew, that like the same principles apply to any niche that you would like the same things? Like, would you be able to say you would kill it with an offer that's geared towards, I don't know, Greek Orthodox, or you know what I mean? Like, I mean, they're Greek Orthodox are Christian. I'm just saying that because that's where we went. Yeah, like any religious or any type of like just very niche, market. Like I can't really see people who love golf or something. I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. I mean, I think the answer is I just don't know. I mean, in order to do that, I have to try to do something like Greek Orthodox offer and tell you, that may
I'll
not
proofread for you.
Yeah. What's great about the Christian market is that it's so big, like, I don't know what the statistics is. There was like some poll done that showed that like 70-something% of Americans self-identify as Christian, even if they don't go to church. Wow. They still have
have that tie, because we have a lot of our parents that kind of brought us to church and did the religion thing for us. So even if we're not super religious, I think even like I have a lot of friends around me and stuff, everybody still has some kind of like belief that you're going to heaven and all that stuff.
Yeah. It is, even if they're not practicing. So that's what I like about it. And it's also ingrained in American culture. Like, American culture is very Protestant. Like, there's a lot of Christian elements in it, and are just, so you're hitting it. It just fits really well with the psychographic profile of most Americans. So that's what I think. So I don't know if a Greek, Orthodox one would do it well with this part of the, United States. And if it might do well in a different part of the world, but the population in the amount of money, free cash flowing in that market might limit it, right? So it may not perform as well, right?
Yeah, no, it's more like a general thing. Like, I'm wondering, like, let's say, would you approach another niche in the same kind of method that you approach the Christian niche, like using the same type of research that you do and the same, or would it like what you would? Okay. So it's just kind of picking your target and researching it well and kind of going through the mechanics of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think, and also sometimes through that research, you might find that it's not a good market to go after because there's just not enough money in it. Right. Because that determines, like, I wouldn't go after Christian dog market, because that probably wouldn't be, probably it's not relevant, it might, who knows, it might actually be,
there's another $20 million idea.
Yeah. I think what's really would be really cool is a Christian. I mean, this is anything revolutionary. This is something that Julian and I are probably going to, I think I can say this.
Ooh, Juicy stuff.
Might depending on if we can get the guru, we might be parlaying into the Christian finance market.
Okay.
So that would be interesting.
Hope you found today's session valuable. If you have any questions for me or just want to connect, please feel free to visit my website, mariasparagis.com. That's mariasparagis.com. I'd love to hear what you're working on, so drop me a line on any hot button issues your business is experiencing. And remember, don't worry about failure. You only have to be right once.